Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of today, Sunday, September 2nd, which equals 1304 or 1111, by the way. And I've seen tons of it today. First, I had a feeling about it this morning that, it's not a rare occurrence. The day 4 happens, probably once every week or so. But today I felt a particular way about it. And then sure enough, at 11:11, my phone went off, text or something, causing me to look at it, prompting me. And when I picked it up, the temperature also updated at 11:11, and it was 76 degrees, which also equals 1304, 11:11. So I immediately posted that everybody should watch their thoughts and words that they speak over themselves and think over their own lives, as well as that of humanity today. Think positive. A lot going on, particularly in the celestial system, that goes right into next week. There's tons going on next week. I don't even know how I'm going to do a reading next week. But this week, there's nothing on the Hebrew calendar. There's nothing on the Islamic calendar. There is one item at the end of the week, on the 8th, on the Christian calendar. And that's the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and those of you who watch me, and I have shown you, Mary's not a Virgo. It was not born in August, but this is the day on which it's celebrated. And if you check it out, basically it's like the church, decided to make the date that her mother became pregnant with her in December. And so they just added 9 months. And that's how this date came about. So here it is, all right? The Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. I'm going to read a little something about it from www.franciscanmedia.org. The church has celebrated Mary's birth since at least the 6th century. Now, 6, that is a number that is special for Mary, in the month of June. A September birth was chosen, see, told you, because the Eastern Church begins its church year with September. The September 8th date helped determine the date of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception on December 8th. See, they got to be 9 months apart. It's not that they use any sort of science or anything to determine on what day she was born or received a channeled message, or several, like I have. In any case, Scripture does not give an account of Mary's birth. However, the books of James fill in some of the gaps. This work has no historical value, but it does reflect the development of the Christian piety. According to this account, Anna and Joaquin are infertile but pray for a child. They receive the promise of a child who will advance God's plan of salvation for the world. Such a story, like many biblical counterparts, stresses the special presence of God in Mary's life from the beginning. I got to tell you something, though. Hang on. Because I think I thought I had my book close by. I don't. Never mind. I was going to say that what they're reading from, though, is of course what the Pope allows Christians to, know, and doesn't include things that were removed from the Bible. I did find my book, such as some of what's included in this book, the Lost Books of the Bible, which does talk about Mary's time as a small child, does talk about her parents, Anne and Joaquin, and becoming pregnant with her and promising her to live a life of God, basically as a nun, handing her over as a baby to like a convent. All of that is in here and available. I think there's more about Mary to younger in the Quran, if I remember correctly, as well. Of course, it's not Mary. They use the name Mariama in the Quran, and it's not Jesus, it's Isa, but same beings. All right. Anyway, let me get back to this. So it says Scripture does not give an account of Mary's birth. However, you can find it in James. According to this account, Anna and Joaquin are infertile but pray for a child. They receive the promise of a child who will advance God's plan of salvation for the world. Such a story, like many biblical counterparts, stresses the special presence of God in Mary's life from the very beginning. St. Augustine connects Mary's birth with Jesus' saving work. He tells the earth to rejoice and to shine forth at the light of her birth. Quote, "She is the flower of the field, from whom bloomed the precious lily of the valley. Through her birth, the nature inherited from our first parents is changed." End quote. The opening prayer at Mass speaks of the birth of Mary's Son as the dawn of our salvation and asks for an increase of peace. Reflection. We can see every human birth as a call for new hope for the world. The love of two human beings has joined with God in his creative work. The loving parents have shown hope in a world filled with travail. The new child has the potential to be a channel of God's love and peace to the world. This is all true in a magnificent way in Mary. If Jesus is the perfect expression of God's love, Mary is the foreshadowing of that love. If Jesus has brought the fullness of salvation, Mary is its dawning. Birthday celebrations bring happiness to the celebrant as well as to the family and friends. Next to the birth of Jesus, Mary's birth offers the greatest possible happiness to the world. Each time we celebrate her birth, we can confidently hope for an increase of peace in our hearts and in the world at large. So for us, on my channel, we celebrate her birth twice a year. So, we have that much more increase that we are making intentions on. All right, so I'll go into the celestial system because, like I said, it's a lot. Let's go straight into that. Beginning with September 3rd at 1:42 p.m., Jupiter will be semi-square Saturn, 17 degrees 33. I see some Scorpio in there, in this this charting. Also, oh, right. Of course, yeah, I see some Scorpio because Jupiter is currently located in Scorpio. Duh. Okay, it took me a second. Sorry about that. September 5th, 8:57 a.m. Pluto quintile Chiron. Chiron, which of course is currently retrograde in Aries. Pluto, which is currently retrograde in Capricorn. So that should be interesting. Also on September 5th at 10:39 p.m., Mercury enters Virgo, which it rules. And I think that's the more favorable placement. Like Mercury and Gemini, well, I probably don't have to explain what that's about. I think, of the two, just like Venus's most favorable placement and loving placement is, said to be Libra, although she also rules Taurus and Gemini as well. In this case, I believe it's Virgo. We'll read about that in a second. Or we'll read about Mercury entering Virgo. I don't know if that's going to come up. Anyway, September 6th at 7:09 a.m., Saturn goes direct. Yay! So all the planets are beginning to come out of retrograde, at least in the way that most of us think about it. Most average Joes are not concerned with planets being in retrograde and shadow. So once they face direct, we sort of let our hair down. All right, that's it for this week. Saturn goes direct 2 degrees. That's like an 11. 2 degrees 33. So an 11 and a 33. You can think of it as a 44. Maybe the archangels will be surrounding. Or with the 33, we have the Ascended Masters. With the 11, we have manifestation. We have partnership. We have faith with the 2 degrees. So different ways to look at that numerology. And then we go, there's nothing else until September 9th, which again, this reading ends on the 8th. The 9th, we'll begin our new one. And when we start our new one, I'm going to talk about so many things because Venus enters Scorpio on the 9th. And that should be hot and heavy for those who get to enjoy it. It's intense. I mean, Venus is the planet of love. Mars is like the male planet of love, and Mars is a ruler of Scorpio. So that's going to throw some in there too, some extra love. But love in general, Venus is the planet of love, and she's going to be in there. It's going to be about commitment. It's going to be about, passion. It's going to be about like hot, steamy kind of love, like real sexy stuff. If you know a Scorpio, you know what I mean. An adult Scorpio. And she's going to be there from September 9th through October 31st. So she'll be there once all the planets are out of retrograde, or once they all face direct. I believe. I think they will have all faced direct by the end. And yeah, thinking about it off the top of my head, don't quote me. I think that we'll have all faced direct by then. And I know she'll join Jupiter now, and she'll be there with him the whole time, because she leaves on October 31st, Halloween, and the Jupiter in Scorpio continues until November 8th, I think. So that should be fun. All right, so I was going to talk about first Jupiter semi-square Saturn. And for that, this is a arbitrary pick. I don't know this woman. I typed in Jupiter semi-square Saturn, and this popped up. I just clicked on it. And it is called www.alison, ALISON, Chester, CHESTER, Lambert, LAMBERT.com. Jupiter semi-square Saturn. We now leave the essentially personal psychological arena of the Saturn Chiron square and look lastly at the Jupiter Saturn semi-square, which describes bigger cultural and socio-economic cycles. We get the second and third hits of Jupiter in Saturn in March and then September. So now that's us. Jupiter describes the expectations of the collective and our expansion into them. It's how we cope with growth, and the way in which we do that is described by the zodiac and the sign that it's in. For the whole of 2018, Jupiter is in Scorpio, so this expansion will come through intuitive, hidden, or emotional channels. The primordial feminine and masculine actually meet each other in Scorpio, but this is true of any coupling involving two people. Scorpio is the intense connection, so Jupiter indicates growth into this territory. Saturn describes our fears and restrictions, what is missing, and what we'll have to work with or to compensate for. In 2018, Saturn is in Capricorn, the hard-working and rugged earth sign that is ruled by Saturn. So one is complementing the other. Hence, austerity will be easily felt and expressed. There is a strong focus on materialism and capitalism, and there might be an abundant work ethic. All this may be at the expense of sensitivity and gentleness, though. As I described previously, the semi-square aspect between Jupiter and Saturn describes a relationship that blocks, impedes, delays, and hinders. So this is on top of the retrogrades, which also do that. There is frustration, and it holds up the action of both planets. They neutralize each other. So let's put that together. We can expect growth in deep emotional attachments, but not without some exasperation and irritation involving materialistic achievements. There could be some dysfunction between hard work and achievement on the one hand, and intense or sensitive emotional exchanges on the other. Perhaps trying to balance emotional lives and work demands might be a feature of this year. But these are both feminine zodiac signs, so the focus is not on rapid growth anyway. It is on the unconscious and adjustment. It is about synthesizing and integrating. This is an uneasy constellation of sorts. One last general comment before an overview of the whole year, taking all this into account and deciding if we have a chocolate cake or a blueberry cake. From August through September 5th, all of the outer planets are retrograde. This means that things will feel stuck, and whilst deeply buried issues may finally make it to your consciousness, no new territory can be covered. You may feel like a caged hamster going around in the wheel. Try to get new projects off the ground before this time. Well, we blew that. And then they go into an overview of 2018. I guess we don't need to talk about all that. But I was going to go deeper into detail about the Jupiter And not only Jupiter and Saturn, it looks like, but Jupiter and the other planets as well. So anybody wanting to see that, go to AllisonChesterLambert.com. That's where I found it. Moving on to September 5th, Pluto quintile Chiron. And for this, I'm going to astrofix.net. astrofix.net. The compulsion to explore something sinister within. Mistrusting deep instincts. Out of touch with innate inner knowing. Healing comes from learning how to trust your deep instincts. You have a blind spot for the darkness within you and within others. You don't recognize the shadow within you. You're slow to recognize the shadow in others. There's gullibility. Profoundly disturbing lessons need to get in touch with your instincts. Learning who to trust. Learning who not to trust. Stockholm Syndrome. Learning what it means to get your hands dirty. Learn the complexity of right and wrong. Deep suffering through broken trust. Healing comes from learning how to trust again. You trust the wrong people. Bitterness through being hurt by the ones you trust the most. Healing comes from transforming the bitterness. This is all about Chiron and Pluto having an aspect. Bitter feelings and excruciating experiences brought on by envy, greed, sex, and jealousy. Diving headlong into situations that make you seethe with poisonous thoughts and emotions. Becoming obsessed with every emotion that destroys you. Toxic healing experiences. Homeopathy. Using what causes the sickness to heal the sickness. Learning how to become less of a slave to your compulsions. By healing your compulsions, you help others heal theirs. By diving into your complexes, you show others how to dive into theirs. Trouble understanding power dynamics. Feeling either all-powerful or totally powerless. Letting unworthy people exert power over you. Being coerced into situations and relationships by forces seemingly beyond your control. Under the influence of a master manipulator. Becoming a master manipulator. I used to call my ex that. I said, "You are a master manipulator." I didn't know it was a thing. Having keen insight into what motivates people. Understanding the underlying motivations of human behavior. Knowing how to use your understanding of motivation to help others. And using your understanding of motivation to manipulate others. Wow. Compulsion to purge yourself of everything that torments you. Living a superficial life. Experiencing extreme anxiety about anything that isn't bright, shiny, sunny, and out in the open. Alternatively, an inability to let go of the very things that keep you imprisoned in unproductive cycles of addiction and grief. How many are suffering with that? I hear about stories, about horror stories, really, from my clients in that regard all the time. They're just unable to let go of stuff they know they need to, or their partner is. People who know how to deal with unrelenting pressure. People who do not know what to do with themselves when they're not under pressure. Self-punishers. The urge to purge agonizing experiences, sometimes by throwing yourself right into the thick of them. Exercising your demons, as in exorcism, not exercising like getting in shape with them. Horror film fanatics. Viewing horror films or reading horror novels is cathartic an experience for you right now. Halloween is your favorite holiday if you're one of these Pluto and Chiron aspecting people. Letting go of a need for extreme emotions to feel alive and vital. Healing something intense and destructive within you. Paralyzed by powerful emotions, longings, and compulsions. Quote unquote, the bad seed. The fear of discovering what your deepest desires really are. A fear of completely accepting all aspects of who you are. Healing relationships with the dead. Coming to terms with how death affects your life. Coming to terms with your own inevitable death. It's not necessarily inevitable. but I won't go into that now. I'll just say briefly that even the scriptures say not all will taste death. It means that some people just ascend. They don't go through death is not inevitable for everyone. Anyway, facing the fear of dying, helping others to cope with death and dying, helping others to cope with grieving, becoming a grief counselor, trauma counselor, post-traumatic stress disorder. The key to healing is embracing your dark passenger, like the darkness that you carry with you, essentially. Healing comes through exploring a murky path, feeling compelled to help others along their journey of uncovering the shadow self. The key to wholeness is resolving generations of karma. The key to healing is breaking generational patterns of behavior. You become a mentor by addressing your addictions. You become a teacher by confronting your compulsions. You become a guide when you're no longer a slave to your desires. And you create a bridge between the lower and higher selves by embracing the best and worst of who you are. And that is all about the Chiron and Pluto aspect. Hopefully we'll only experience it this week, or maybe even on this day, September 5th. Again, 8:57 a.m. is when that happens. Also on September 5th at 10:39 p.m., as I mentioned before, Mercury enters Virgo, which it rules. So for that, I'm going to www.tarot.com. When Mercury's in Virgo, Mercury's move into Virgo begins a period when our minds are sharp, our speech becomes precise, and we're able to communicate with others more efficiently. We aren't interested in sugarcoating our words under this transit. We want to cut through the clutter and get straight to the point. Virgo is highly skilled at taking in tons of information and stripping out everything that's not necessary. So while Mercury moves through Virgo, our power to analyze information becomes much stronger, which helps us to communicate our thoughts in the clearest way possible. Productivity is one of the benefits and the largest benefits of Mercury in Virgo. While it's not the most fun transit, our opportunities to make real progress are huge. Instead of getting stuck in a trap of dead-end ideas or in conversations that seem to go in circles, we are intently focused on details and useful information, making this a time of great forward movement. One thing we must be aware of during this transit is becoming hypercritical. Discernment is a good thing, but during Mercury in Virgo, we can be so focused on finding faults that we insult others or become frustrated by our own flaws. Refining the way that we speak to others and conveying our opinions with tact is key with Mercury in this discriminating sign. It goes on to talk about what will happen if you were born with Mercury in Virgo in your chart, and then to talk about Mercury retrograde in Virgo, but that's not the case. So anybody interested in reading that, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. And lastly, on September 6th at 7:09 a.m., Saturn goes direct. For that, I'm going to something called www.elsa.com. Again, it's completely arbitrary. I don't know Elsa. I don't know if her name is really Elsa. I'm just reading this because it popped up. This is from August 22nd in 2018 is when she prepared this blog. Saturn direct in Capricorn, September 6, 2018. Fear. With 6 planets retrograde this summer, you've probably experienced a lot of delays. Mercury turned direct on August 19th. Mentally, collectively, we look ahead. Mars will turn direct on August 27th. At that point, it will be the time to act, or you may be impacted by the action of others. The point is, things that have been chilling or waiting in the wings are starting to move. People might be happier about this, if not for their fear. Saturn in Capricorn scares people. Saturn will go direct in Capricorn on September 6th. Well, there's healing for anybody that's scared. So, if you're thinking... Wait, let me let that pass. All right, Saturn will go direct on September 6th. So you're thinking, and then you're acting. And then what? Your actions have consequences. This does not have to be negative. You can have an idea coming from Mercury, act on it coming from Mars, and then reach a goal coming from Saturn. However, I don't see a lot of lilies or gingerbread or ease with this. More likely, you're going to be doing what you have to do. People who can find a way to like the job that they've been assigned fare best during times like this. Specific to Saturn in Capricorn, I admit it's been harsh. People are realizing they're no longer young and or that there are limits. I'm aware of men and women still in their teens that feel this way. So you're not alone. I actually had to tell a 19-year-old man that he was not washed up. Over the weekend, a man told me that marriage was more about the dishes than it is about the roses. I think he's right about that. I also think this applies to more than marriage. As for the specifics, Saturn will turn direct at 2 degrees Capricorn. The planet will be at 11 degrees at the end of 2018. So that's a little 11-11 of its own, but 2 degrees also equals 11. In 2019, Saturn will reach 20 degrees as another 11 in Capricorn before going retrograde again on April 30th. If you have planets at the mid degrees of any of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, you can expect to be under a lot of pressure from now throughout 2019. Yikes. Of course, 2019 will lead us into 2020, however. And that's all she says about that. So, on that note, let's get to the cards. We know what we have to look forward to, good or bad, this week. All right, so starting with the dice, I'm beginning with email. Maybe you'll do a better email than you normally would have because of Virgo, Mercury and Virgo. Maybe you want to wait till the 6th before you send your email, depending on who you're sending it to and for what. Also, spend money. And massage. Spirit still says spend money. Still says massage. And try again. So something that didn't work out. Maybe the email. Maybe before we tried to reach out to somebody, they didn't respond or whatever. The conversation didn't go as planned. Try again. Yes. So if there was a yes or no question that you had, either associated with should I reach out again, or something else that was on your mind, the answer is yes. Going to the card, speaking of all that earth stuff, the Capricorn, the Saturn, the Virgo, I'm beginning with the 10 of earth. A very happy family, financial security, and finding magic in the little things in life. Somebody could be getting some sort of inheritance this week, or a lump sum of money for whatever reason, a settlement, a bonus of some sort. 10 of earth. Opening to the 6 of earth. It's also an indication of abundance coming one's way, perhaps particularly financial, gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. For me, in this deck in particular, this card is very Venus. It's so if we want to think about Venus in Virgo, I mean, it's of the suit of earth. This is like the perfect card to describe her with. Here we see all of her signs, or I do. Here's Libra that she rules, right? Here's all the Taurus, all the earth here. And then back here, you see all this scattered air. It's like all over the place, looking confused. That's Gemini. This card is about unconditional love for me. And it's that way whether you're dealing with a stranger and, you give somebody on the corner $1 and that helps them to buy lunch for the day. That's an act of love that you're not looking for anything back. You're not going to say, homeless man, I want my change, or whatever the case is. You're just giving because you want to give. That's an act of unconditional love, and that's what the 6 of earth is about. As it relates to romantic relationships, because it covers the whole gambit, the range from a complete stranger to somebody that we, love on a personal level. And even then, it's also about giving and receiving, being able to do both without like reason or agenda or want associated or attached to it. Ten of Earth. And renewal with Archangel Jeremiah. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. For me, renewal or judgment in the traditional tarot, Major Arcana card 20, represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. Archangel Jeremiah is the archangel of past lives. So we could be revisiting a situation with somebody from our past, or a situation, a circumstance from our past has arisen in our current relationships or whatever. And as it relates to relationships in general, the Judgment card calls us to like approach these relationships, face them, and determine like where they're going. And sometimes where they're going is nowhere fast, and it's the end of the road. And sometimes you're going to figure out like, okay, from here we're going to enter commitment, or we're going to just be friends, or whatever the case is. And that's for all types of relationships, romantic, familial, friends. You come to a crossroad, you're going to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. As it relates to this abundance, perhaps, again, this is a renewal or judgment is about abundance that is earned. It's similar to the Three of Earth for me, although it's much stronger because it's Major Arcana, right? Major Arcana card 20. But abundance that is earned. Nobody's doing you a favor if they give you this abundance. If you get this money, again, it's your bonus, it's your raise, it's your promotion, it's the settlement that you fought for in court, and maybe sitting here with the Ten of Earth next to judgment could be an actual legal judgment in your favor that's awarding you this abundance. It is, somebody left you inheritance, maybe because you were, not just the favorite kid, but you were the one that actually took care of mom or dad or whatever. You earned it. You weren't doing it for that reason, and that's why the Six of Earth also shows up. You're doing it out of love, helping to take care of them, but you earned whatever they leave you behind. It's that sort of thing. Ten of Earth. The King of Water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice. And charity work, which is love, as far as I'm concerned. And because, again, it's similar to that Six of Earth. If I'm doing charity work, I'm being philanthropic or whatever, it means I'm giving of myself to another. And I don't want anything in return, or, without agenda of being attached to it. I'm not looking for them to do anything for me necessarily. They may feel prompted to, right? Oh, that was nice of you, and allow me to do this. That's courteous, and I have to be in a position to receive. The same way I'm in a position to give, I need to be open to receiving. Oh, thank you. That's how thoughtful of you. I appreciate it. That's what charity is about. That's love. And from judgment, we go to justice. Major Arcana card 8. This is all about Venus, right? Represents the sign of Libra, which she rules, where she is currently located until she moves into Virgo on the 6th. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. I'm sorry, did I say Venus in Virgo? She's not going to Virgo. She left Virgo before. She was in Virgo before she was in Libra. They go in order, actually. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but when the planets transit, they move in order. So she was in Virgo last. Now she's in Libra, and she's moving into Scorpio, which follows Libra on the zodiac, of course. I don't know why I said that. It's Mercury that's entering Virgo. In any case, our overall energy today is the 7 of Earth. Seeds well planted. A temporary pause in action. Unnecessary worry. Meaning, if you planted something and you tended to it, you put water on it, you covered it in dirt, then you can expect it to grow. And there's no need to panic and worry about whether it's going to grow or whether it is growing. Even if you can't see it, you don't see it sprouting through the dirt yet, that doesn't mean nothing's happening underneath, and you just expected to chill out. Crowning the masculine this week, it's the Knight of Fire. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. This could be all about Jupiter. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or perhaps a Scorpio, where Jupiter is located, and which Mars, the red planet, rules. That's why I say sometimes, it could be a Scorpio too, because they're really attached to fire, although a water sign. Speaking of Scorpio, masculine surrounded by the Two of Water this week, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, and the positive resolution of a conflict. This can be close friends, this can be romantic partners. This is the general reading, so it can go either way. This can even be a business situation where, you're just getting along well and you make a good partnership. Masculine subconscious, major arcana card 18, the moon, which represents the sign of Pisces. With Archangel Haniel here. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So we just read a lot about fear being attached to that Saturn, which is going direct. That's going to alleviate some of that fear for us. And so maybe that will help us to release what we need to. This card also indicates that there's a need for us to pay close attention to our intuition when it shows up, and that there may be some stuff that we don't know, and that's fine. We're still expected to move. If we get guidance to move, like the Knight of Fire, and take off and be Prince Charming, we're still expected to do that, even if we don't know, all the information that we feel we should. The universe has blessed us with what it feels we need to know, and then you got to battle out who's right, you or the universe. Okay, they give you what you need in order to move forward, and they expect you to do it fearlessly without being paranoid about what you don't know. This can also be on a more 3D level. There could be secrets, not necessarily maliciously. There could be some stuff that somebody intentionally didn't tell you, and some secret that somebody's keeping. And then there could be like inadvertent, I just haven't shared that. It wasn't like I was trying to hide anything. It just never came up, that type of thing, when we see the moon. Finding the feminine is major arcana card Justice again, number 8, which does represent the planet Venus and the sign of Libra, which she rules. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Feminine surrounded by yet another 8, right? Crowned by an 8, surrounded by an 8 too. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things are happening at once. 8 of Fire is about communication. It's about information coming toward you. You're becoming availed with information. Maybe about some sort of issue, legal issue perhaps. Some decision you're awaiting or that you need to make. Karma, with the number 8, karma is involved. The planets are involved. They're really working behind the scenes too on your behalf. They're helping out. Feminine subconscious, it's major arcana card 16, the Tower. It's called life experience in this deck with Archangel Chamuel. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. The Tower, it can be about a physical structure, like a home or something. Something may be going on with somebody's home or business, an actual tower, a building, a structure. But other than that, it can be a revelation, like an aha, like a major aha moment that changes everything, like the way you move in your life. Like, oh, snap. Okay, that's what's going on. I shouldn't be talking to them. I shouldn't be living my life this way. I shouldn't be doing that. Whatever the case is. Or I should be. You can affirm it either direction. especially for me, I mean, people see the tower and they get all paranoid and whatnot. There's no need. Like, it can go either way. It's another 7 too. So it's unnecessary worry a lot of the time when people see the tower, just like the 7 of Earth. Although the tower tends to represent the sign of Scorpio for me. So not Earth, but water. It has like that energy of death and rebirth, sort of. That's why I connected to Scorpio. But it can go either way, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a scary card. It can be good, as far as like it's sitting here underneath the 8 of Fire, for example. And the 8 of Fire, I said it's always positive. I've never seen a negative 8 of Fire. I don't even know what that would look like. It's always a good thing when the 8 of Fire shows up. So whatever this movement is behind the scenes, whatever's going on, whatever the changes that are being made, your karma playing out, it's good karma. You filled up your karma bank with good stuff. You've been good to people. That's what's going to bring about whatever this is that sweeps you off your feet. So it would be good too. Maybe not good enough for some of us, though. We're crowned by the 5 of Water. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped. Not seeing the positive in the situation and crying over spilled milk. This is a card of pessimism, melancholy. It's really an energy of being obnoxious as far as I'm concerned, because it's like not counting your blessings, not being thankful for what you do have. Again, not seeing the positive in the situation, only looking at things from a negative point of view, negative perspective, funky stank attitude, that sort of thing. At the root, it really seems like we have no business to be feeling like this. At the root here is the 10 of Water, a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. You have trustworthy relationships. The 10 of Water is like just a feeling of like needing for nothing, even if it's just like a fleeting moment, you know, it's at a time. You're spending time around people that you love, even one other person that you love. Just one other person makes you feel surrounded by love, and like you don't need anything. You're not looking for anything material. You're not worried about money in that moment. You just feel good. Can also be about spending time with family, and it looks like particularly for the masculine, perhaps it is specifically one other person and the coupling that is making him feel emotionally fulfilled here. At the heart of the matter, it's another 8. Major Arcana card number 17 equals 8, the Star. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You're on the right path. Archangel Jophiel is kind of Venus-like in that she's the archangel of beauty, right? Beautifying your home, maybe. Somebody may be getting an opportunity to make changes to their structure. With some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, somebody may be getting the house, a feminine, maybe specifically a female, getting the house in the divorce, right? So here's the Tower. Here's the karma that's paying off. Here's the happy times from now on. We can plan for the future, long-term plans, and maybe beautifying our surroundings. So again, Archangel Jophiel, like Venus, is the archangel of beauty, right? Venus is the planet of beauty. And she comes into play with like feng shui and just like beautifying your environment. But you can call on her when you want some help with yourself too. You can't seem to get your makeup right, your hair right. You don't know what to do with yourself. You're not happy with your look. You can call upon Archangel Jophiel for help in that area as well. I'm going to further clarify these with some more tarot cards, and we are beginning yet again with Major Arcana card 8 and Justice. So we got 2 Justice cards already. Fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. And opening again to the King of Water. That's the first card to which I opened when I was shuffling these two. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise or compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. The King of Summer is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. And again, he's a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. King of Summer, And the Nine of Summer. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still yet to come. The Nine of Summer is about our wishes being granted, our dreams coming true, our prayers being answered, just like the star is. Star is also about communication, and it's sitting here next to the Eight of Fire. The feminine definitely can expect some sort of communication or to be communicative herself. This can also be about, I'm getting now, maybe perhaps not a divorce, but some other kind of court case or settlement where, again, inheritance or something, where you are getting possibly a house, and maybe not as happy with it. Maybe it needs work. It's a fixer-upper. Or maybe that's not what you wanted. You wanted some other asset from family. Well, there's healing. You wanted some other family, heirloom or something. You got to learn to be, appreciative of the thought that was made in your regard, that you were, included, and that you're getting something. For others, where it doesn't involve some sort of legal situation, you may be offered, maybe you're looking for a home or apartment or something, and somebody offers, oh, here's one I have to show you, and you're not 100% thrilled about it. Consider it, all right? Because it might be sort of like in disguise that your prayer is being answered. You're not noticing. You're missing the point and the opportunity that your prayer is being answered in what's being presented to you. All right, back to these. King of Summer. The Princess of Autumn, which is the page of Earth of Pentacles. Cheerful, reliable, intelligent, and mischievous, such as a promotion, a scholarship, is coming your way. Seize this chance to learn something exciting or to start a more rewarding and uplifting career. So it could be something like this too. Like you're being offered a job or something, or promotion, an opportunity, and it's not perfect as far as you're concerned. Like you would have chosen something a little bit better for yourself, but don't miss the point and the opportunity that's staring you in the face. And opposite the King of Water, it could definitely be something that you learn to love, as they say. And opening to the Eight of Summer, you feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. So again, this can be about moving for some physically, a new apartment, a new home. I feel so more so on the side of the feminine. For the masculine, it may be some sort of new relationship or changes to a relationship, whether somebody's out of here or somebody's coming into your life, that is what you've been wanting and what you've been trying to achieve, and you're happy about it. And you're taking action in that regard as the Knight of Fire. So you may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, like I just was describing, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy, like I was just describing. Either way, you're in control, like I was just describing. You're the Knight of Fire. King of Summer. Whoop. Just stick that in. I didn't even look at it. I don't even know which one it was. And that brings us to the Princess of Summer, a Page of Cups. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, inexperienced is she. She's also a Pisces, if you ask me, but of course can be a Cancer or a Scorpio as well, or anyone like unto those traits or attributes. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. Some of us may have been waiting for a long time for some sort of message from somebody, and it's finally coming in. And maybe it doesn't include all of what we would have hoped, but we got to be thankful that we finally heard from the person. Our prayers have been answered. That can be coming through too. Maybe they're not saying exactly what we would have wanted them to say, but what they do say enables us to move forward and to make long-term plans for ourselves, if not together with them. Our overall energy is the Three of Autumn, which I spoke of as I described Judgment, because they are very, very similar to me. All about abundance that is earned. Again, no one's doing you a favor when you come by this abundance. You deserve it. So make sure that you have that worthiness about you, that confidence, that deservingness about you. Your most satisfying and profitable career or relationship comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. So if you have a decision to make as it relates to that abundance, your life purpose, your relationships, your career, check with your heart first, what your heart says to do, and then follow that. May involve some sort of party of three, or perhaps a relationship that was started at the workplace. Atop the Knight of Fire, it is the King of Fire. Inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise. Now's your moment to step into a leadership role, masculine. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused upon the big picture. This King of Fire, like the Knight, is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or Scorpio. The King of Fire, also a representation in general of the Divine Masculine in the Tarot. So someone of these traits or attributes, or one of these zodiac signs. Atop the Two of Water is the Nine of Spring. Don't let go of your relationship. Don't let it fall by the wayside. Like, if you want it, work on it. You've worked hard, and what you've created is impressive and worth protecting. That's this party of two. Whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, or again, a business partnership, whatever it is, it's worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry. You'll get through them just as you have in the past. So this is guiding you to persevere, keep going, keep pushing. But you have all this strength and confidence and support and leadership quality about you, father-like authority. Atop the Moon in your subconscious is Major Arcana card number 5, Unity, or the High Priest, the Hierophant. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. The Hierophant is often about this, and that's what I'm feeling most, actually. We talked about walking away from somebody or walking towards somebody, right? And particularly here with this, like this Nine of Spring, this relationship you're preserving could be one you've created outside of your other relationships. You could be walking away from one and walking toward another. And again, whatever type of relationship it is, it doesn't matter. It can apply. And that's what the Hierophant says. It calls us to make adjustments to our relationships and our environment in general, people, places, and things with which we surround ourselves that no longer align with our vibration, right? We need to seek out like frequencies, a vibration likened to our own or greater, from whom we can learn something. The Hierophant represents the sign of Taurus. So here, where your intuition is telling you of whom, where, and what to let go, follow it. Also, you're coming into enlightenment, so your intuition is telling you all kinds of things. The universe is, you're downloading information when these two cards are coupled together like this. And as far as signs, again, this is Taurus and this is Pisces, or Earth and Water, maybe. A top Major Arcana card, Justice, is the Seven of Spring. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone else take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. So when you're deciding what the right thing to do for you is, And once you've decided that, you put your foot down and you don't let anybody else talk you out of it. So whether it's actually something legal and serious, like, like a divorce, and, there are people who say, oh, but you make such a great couple, and they don't know what you're going through in your house, don't let them talk you out of your divorce. If it's something, less stringent, still, the fact remains that you've come to a decision in your own regard. And, you have the right to defend it. And you will defend it. When this card shows up, it shows that you will defend it. You may do that by walking away from the person and not even addressing the situation, or you may give it further energy. That's up to you. Atop the 8 of fire is another King of Summer. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful is the King of Summer. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. So this communication that comes to you maybe it's going to be from somebody who's like, even if it's somebody who normally you may not be sure of, like, I don't know, this person's trying to play me or bullshitting, whatever. In this moment, this communication is legitimate. Like, they're speaking from the heart. They're being genuine. They're coming to you out of love, or they're speaking to you out of love. It can be a loving message, especially since we've seen also the Page of Cups, which is an offer or a message or some sort of love. So with the 8 of fire here, coupled with the King of Summer, the message that comes is going to bring you happy. Or if you're the one sending a message or trying to communicate somebody, you will do it in the most loving way possible. So you will watch your words. Again, maybe you're going to wait until that Mercury in Virgo later on this week. But you will come from a genuine place, coming or going. This is like real. Oh, so, and as it relates to the decision as well, it's something that you thought about. You thought about it. You considered your feelings. You looked to your heart for an answer, and you're moving based on that. The top major arcana card, number 16, life experience, or the Tower, is the Prince of Autumn. Trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and to get as much accomplished as possible. So this is connected to your revelation, right? To your aha moment and what it is. Okay, I know I got to do something differently now. I got to make a decision. The Prince of Autumn helps you to delineate how you're going to act, like what the plan is. And you may find yourself writing down an actual plan. That could be part of the communication. Communication can be to yourself, right, from you, with regard to, and from a loving place and with your own heart and mind, what next steps to take. What's the right thing to do for you. Atop the 5 of water, which I'm not a fan of, is the Queen of Summer. So now we got a relationship definitely at the table, right? In the spread, we've got the Queen and King of Summer, and we've got the King of Summer mirroring the 2 of Summers. So here's the 2 of Summer right here. There they go. And here they are as well. So as it relates to relationships, with this Queen of Summer is coupled with the 5 of Summer, 5 of water. It's saying, again, you're not counting your blessings. You're not appreciating the fact that you have this connection in this union. Whatever kind of relationship it is. And you need to focus. You need to get your mind and get your life right. And see what's in front of you. Again. This is the time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. So like I was saying about this person, when this communication comes to you, you can trust it. Queen of Summer is reconfirming that. Be mindful that you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. So that could be what this is too. Like, don't do this to yourself so that you can be here for somebody else. Atop the Ten of Water, it's another tower. Important changes are coming to your life that will require you to take action. Don't hesitate to move in new directions that you know are right for you. So there could be a major change coming to somebody's family. Like I said, a divorce, God forbid, a passing, and somebody, again, leaves an inheritance or something, is what I was seeing too. A baby could be born in the family. That's, oh my goodness, that's a tower. Everything changes at that point as well. I don't feel sad like holding these cards. So even if there's a passing, I think it's somebody that's probably, lived a full life, an elder. That's not as difficult to see go. And as I said that, I was drawn to these like butterflies in the distance that are flying off into the clouds. Butterflies signify for me death and rebirth. They're metamorphosis, right? A transition. Somebody going through their transition with them flying into the heavens. That could be what it is for somebody that's watching this video. Especially with two towers sitting next to each other. The person may specifically be an earth sign also. Or Scorpio. With the cross and the King of Summer and the tower representing the sign of Scorpio for me, sitting atop the Ten of Water. In any case, this card guides you. It tells you that these important changes are coming to your life and they're going to require you to take action. Right? So don't hesitate to move in directions that you know are right for you. Boom. All right, don't let anybody talk you out of what's right for you. And at the heart of the matter, the top major arcana card, number 17, the Star, is the Prince of Winter, or the Knight of Swords. Decisive, focused, driven, and impulsive is the Knight of Swords. And he usually turns up when a decision has to be made. So again, you got to make a decision about long-term plans or about what it is you truly want, because your dreams we're manifesting right now and things are coming true. So before you put those intentions and prayers out there into the world, make sure you're talking about what it is you actually want. An Aquarius in particular can be involved, if not another air sign. But it could be specifically an Aquarius involved here in this situation. Get ready for progress to speed up. This situation requires you to choose logic and intellect over emotion and to make your decisions quickly. So we had already been directed over here to use our hearts. And now the Prince of Winter steps in and says, oh, whoa, 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 don't forget me. Use your head too. I'm still going to say go to your heart first. And then, make sure that you also feel that what you're doing is right for you again, is right for you and makes sense for you. I'm going to get a little bit more advice from these lesson cards. All right. And the first one is love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. So basically, we're committing to letting go of like Five of Cups type of energy and instead to be appreciative of what's around. These are the Soul's Journey lesson cards by James Van Praagh, by the way. An opening to forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. That comes up here with the Nine of Spring and the Two of Cups. Love and peace. I'm a being of love, and I release all negative energy. Love. And lastly, doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. Okay, here with the Moon. I know the universe is guiding me to remove something from my life. Person, place, thing, combination of those. I don't need to know exactly why. I know I feel this gut feeling. I know I hear my intuition telling me I got to get this thing out of my life. I'm going to finally do it. That's releasing doubt. Love. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. The overall energy is surrender. I can release my need to control. So I think I'm going to further clarify. I was going to do this one, but I decided that one was clear enough. The 9 of Spring atop the 2 of Cups. I think this whole bottom row, where we've got these 2 towers. And then 1 in the heart. Oh, 2 in the heart. Okay, masculine. Further clarity to what's going on here with the moon and the Hierophant. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So again, you're looking for support of your areas of growth where you're becoming enlightened, you're awakening, you're expanding. And to embrace that and to nourish it, you've got to surround yourself with like-minded energy. Likened frequencies to your own. So that's what you're going to have to do. You don't get to see the end of the journey in advance. You don't get to see everything throughout. So there's going to be some stuff you don't know, but you're guided to, release any fear associated with that, attached to that, and to go ahead and make the adjustments to your life that you've known for a while you need to make. Whether that means adding somebody, getting with somebody, maybe 9 of Spring over the top 2 of Cups. Somebody that better aligns with you than that with whom you're surrounding yourself now. Or whether it means, cutting somebody off because we just don't vibe anymore. We just don't vibe anymore. It happens. You've got like a purple color scheme going on here too. Purple can be about royalty, spirituality. You may want to look up the various meanings of purple and see how that fits into how this scenario already applies to you as an individual. Right, since this is a general reading for the collective, it can be applied to many different people, in a variety of ways. To get even more specific, you might want to check out this purple. But there's green here too. So of course green, the emerald ray is the ray of healing. We've heard all those sirens today too while I was doing this reading. Feminine, atop the Prince of Autumn and the Tower. Friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So that can be a situation too. There can be for some where you were looking for a greater relationship than friendship. You didn't necessarily want to be friend zoned. Or somebody was looking for a greater relationship than friendship from you and didn't want to be friend zoned. So that could be what the 5 of Cups is showing up for. But the importance of them being in your life in the capacity that they're meant to be is the realization to which you're coming. And so you don't want to let this person go, whoever this represents, this Prince of Autumn. And of course, they may be a direct earth sign. At the root here for all, atop this other tower and the 10 of water, is humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. So if there is loss, divorce, death, something going on here, again, I didn't feel that this was a sad time, or I think we're still moving forward, and so we're looking at the positive aspects of the situation regardless. The lighter side of life. And at the heart of the matter, atop the Knight of Swords and the Star, is both grief. So again, I think that this might be attached to this. Or grief in terms of loss, or grief in terms of, again, we're divorcing ourselves either legally and in the true sense of the word, or metaphorically divorcing ourselves from something, losing something, letting something go. And again, that's why the 5 of Cups shows up too, because we can't have our cake and eat it too, so we're a little bummed about that. But this card this week guides us to understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So how perfect is that, sitting underneath the 5 of Cups? Like, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never have loved at all, like that sort of thing. And also purpose. Like, we're moving on because that's what our purpose and the other person's purpose, life, guides us to do. And we want to do for what we're here to do. Boom. Further to that, advice for the masculine, 10 of Fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. Well, to the positive, this is a progression up from this 9 for you, and so you're about to move into an even better energy, the Ace of Fire. But until then, yes, you may be doing too much. You may be carrying too much of the load, too much of the burden in a given situation. It may be this just what's here weighing on your mind, that you can relieve your own burden by, again, making the adjustments to your life that you've been guided to make. The people, places, and things that no longer align with your vibration. Cut them off. Feminine, the 5 of Earth. Fears surrounding money. The wisdom to accept help from others and uncertain self-employment. This is another card of loss, lack, or fear of such. It might not even be a real thing. We could be doing this to ourselves and our minds, especially when you get the air energy together with the earth energy, and that, like Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is overthinking, and Virgo is, could be this overly concerned with the material and financial and stuff, if it's not an actual person. Again, for some, it can be a person. There's an earth sign in your life through which you're going something, and you're worried about lack. You're worried about lack or losing them, at least as a friend. So you want to turn this is an opportunity to manifest a better situation for yourself. You want to work on these thoughts that are negative and move into a better place. Do some meditation if you need to. From the Angel Tarot to the Animal Tarot rather, to the masculine. The Princess of Winter, so the Page of Swords. Logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. This is an intellectual challenge that you're in right now here. You're conflicted, right? It calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. What am I going to do? If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. So actually hear what's being said to you. It may come from a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Maybe a Virgo because of Mercury. From the Animal Tarot to the Feminine, it is another star. Major Arcana card, the Star, number 17. You're about to take a big leap forward. So we're going through some sort of change here. That's been clear this week, all of us. Big leap forward with our lives. Worry This worry and this worry will be replaced with optimism. Fear will be replaced with hope. And joy is coming home to roost. Maybe involving an Aquarius. Or you know what? It may be involving Mars in Aquarius. I forgot about that. Why didn't I talk about that this week? Mars re-enters Aquarius. It's next week. It's next week. So this week we're moving toward that. It's 9/11 that Mars enters Aquarius. With all this Aquarius showing up, I just thought about that. So this may be, as we move closer to that, we're shedding some of this funky energy. We're about to move into that place where we take action that we just read about in the passages a moment ago. Masculine, your lesson, your advice lesson for the week is service. I feel good when I can help others. So if you have an opportunity to be of service to humanity or someone, take it. You'll be happy that you did. And lastly, for us feminine, abundance. I'm a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So I think I said that for all of us a little while ago, that this is a week clearly to me of manifestation. Watch your thoughts and it should be a good one. I'll be back with love. I hope that you guys enjoy this and find it helpful in your lives. Namaste, angels.